השבוע שחררנו 2 מחטופינו במבצע צבאי מזהיר. עד עכשיו שחררנו 112 מחטופינו בשילוב של לחץ צבאי חזק ומשא ומתן תקיף. וזה גם המפתח לשחרור יתר חטופינו. לחץ צבאי חזק ומשא ומתן מאוד תקיף. וכן, אני עומד על כך שחמאס ירדו מהדרישות ההזויות שלהם. וכשהם ירדו מהדרישות האלה, נוכל להתקדם.
We wish to make an urgent appeal to the international community. It is time for you to help protect civilians in Gaza from the Hamas terrorists who are trying to use them as human shields. Since the start of this war that Hamas launched, Israel has employed extensive measures to protect civilians in Gaza from their own leaders' evil attempts to keep them in the line of fire. At every turn, however, we have been stymied by UN agencies, more concerned with pressuring Israel to end the war with Hamas still standing than to protect civilians. They have resisted our efforts to vacate civilians from Hamas strongholds, libelously characterizing those measures in pursuance of our obligations under international law as forced displacement. In telling Israel not to attack because civilians will be hurt, but then resisting efforts to get civilians out of harm's way, they have rendered themselves complicit with Hamas's human shield strategy and told it that that strategy works and to keep going. The United Nations and international actors now face a fateful choice. Do they want to save Hamas or save Palestinian civilians? They cannot stop Israel from dismantling the last 4 Hamas battalions in the Gaza Strip and securing the release of the 134 remaining hostages after the October 7 massacre. But the decisions they make now can still protect civilians from the war that Hamas has brought on them. We urge UN agencies to cooperate with Israel's efforts to protect civilians from Hamas and evacuate them from a war zone where terrorists are trying to use them as human shields. Don't say it can't be done. Work with us to find a way. We are now approaching a ground offensive in Rafah because Israeli forces have already successfully swept through most of the Gaza Strip from the north. Hamas started this war with 24 battalions. 18 of those have now been shattered. 2 are on their last legs in Khan Yunis, and that leaves 4 inside Rafah. We're talking about 3/4 of Hamas's battalions that have been shattered, therefore, with over 12,000 terrorists who have been killed. When you take into account the number of terrorists who have been wounded or apprehended, that is more than half of Hamas's fighting force knocked out of action. In a daring rescue operation deep in Rafah overnight, Israel successfully rescued 2 hostages, Luis Ha and Fernando Malman, both abducted by Hamas death squads from kibbutz Nir Yitzhak on October 7th. In a complex rescue mission under fire, the IDF, Israel Police, and Shin Bet conducted a targeted raid in the heart of Rafah with aerial coverage to rescue the 2 hostages. In the early morning at 1:49 a.m., special forces breached a civilian building in Rafah and found the 2 hostages who were being helmed by armed terrorists in an apartment on the 2nd floor. 1 minute after the building was breached, the Air Force and Southern Command activated aerial fire to enable the forces' disengagement and strike Hamas terrorists in the area. Yamam officers from the Israel Police Special Forces shielded the 2 hostages with their bodies until they could be extracted under fire, accompanied by IDF forces.
soltar os pinhões. Vou começar a disparar. They will start shooting. بعيد.